you owned your own company doing that for AR. What'd you do before that?
I worked in construction before that.
What?
Damn, what?
Like roofing? Like what the hell? You're a redhead. What are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Monarch Social Podcast,
where we discuss all things digital media marketing. As always, with me is Mr. Morgan McKell.
We're back. You flew solo last week.
I did.
How
with
was it?
Skelly. It was sick, dude. We had good conversations, except for we had some technical difficulties because I didn't have a wingman to watch the camera.
Listen, I was presenting.
I don't care, dude.
I was speaking. Did you see some of my recordings from that?
No.
Oh, they're on my TikTok. Go check out my TikTok if you want to see me speaking
Morgan,
in front of a large group.
I was upset that day when you walked out.
Fuck yeah, you were. I slammed the door on you.
I know.
I didn't respond.
I know.
I
I was
shut the door.
like,
you started bitching, and I was like, not today, bitch.
I was like,
He's gone.
yeah.
Anyways, today though, Chance, I can't see you through this thing, but we're gonna make it work, okay?
Okay.
On our episode today, we have Chanse Harris
Yes, welcome, Chansey.
with
Thank you.
ReScope Records
Yes.
and other things. We're gonna get into what you do, but welcome and thank you for being our guest.
Yeah. Hey, thanks guys for having me today.
Do you want to introduce yourself to our audience of maybe your name, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah. So my name is Chanse Harris. I'm from West Valley City, Utah. I have moved around a lot and done a lot of things, but more specifically, I am the public relations manager at ReScope Enterprises.
Nice.
And you're over all of Enterprises, right?
Yes.
Like all the PR stuff.
Yes.
So what does that entail? Like what do you specifically do with ReScope?
Yeah, so as of now, my focus is more towards ReScope Records, but as a whole, I make sure that the media exposure for all of the ReScope brands are top-notch and on point. So when it comes to getting Jeffrey McHenry and Brad Coombs behind the camera for, say, specific podcasts and or talking about specific things, that's my area of expertise, is making sure that they're hooked up with the right people.
Nice.
How did you get into like PR?
Have you always done PR?
I have not always done PR, but more so it's been an area within my background of the other things that I have done. While working with artists, I was more of a communications liaison, and you could say that falls into the tier of being PR because I would do the same thing for the artists I work with, was make sure that they were in front of the right people, the right time, and at the right places to promote their music and get the exposure that they needed.
Nice.
With ReScope Enterprises and doing PR and stuff, tell us more about like some of your daily things. What are you doing? Because I'm curious, because I know that you're working a lot with records here, but with all the other stuff, I know that's what you've kind of been put into. But with the other stuff, like what are like some of like the daily things that a PR person does, the day in the life? I'm just curious, and I'm sure that like our listeners are curious too.
Yeah,
like,
I'm curious. I don't really know what PR
what
does.
goes into that?
Yeah, so making sure that, say, and this is in the scope of with our artists, if our artist wants to jump the gun on something, I have to reel them back in. Same with Brad and same with Jeff. I need to make sure that they're having their communication on one line and sticking along this baseline so that it's never confusing. It's always upfront, transparent, and in the face of the people who need the information.
Okay.
Do you have to like go over what they're gonna say? Like I'm thinking like White House PR. That's like the PR I think about, and it's like you have to say the specific script.
Shit, he doesn't know anything.
I know, and so like their PR is probably having heydays. Have been having a heyday for a long time.
Yeah, well, the good thing about ReScope is I don't need to do so much of that because Brad and Jeff really know their craft and they know the fine line that they teeter on when it comes to the information that they choose to give out. They believe in transparency, and so it's not more so rehearsing what it is that they can and cannot say. It's more so making sure that they stay along the line of, this is the specific information that you want to give out, so make sure that you hit these points.
Nice.
What's the hardest part of your job? Is that it?
No.
Dealing with
hardest
people.
part?
The hardest part is working with the artists, for sure.
Should we start exposing some of these artists? I'm just kidding.
Let's get into the nitty
Yeah,
gritty.
let me tell you a little bit about Skelly New School, Green Eyes and Talo, real quick.
How many artists are you over right now? Like, how many artists do we have signed with ReScope?
We have 4 artists signed with ReScope.
And who are they?
They are Green Eyes Loco, Talo Hamadi, Skelly Art, and New School YLB.
And Skelly was on our podcast last week with Koa.
Yes.
But we got to...
I was gonna say, and who are your favorite from top down? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
shoot.
kidding. We
You know
gotta knock
what?
it
Who's the hardest
I'll
one to
answer
work
it.
with? Who's the hardest artist to work with?
in the most respectful way.
In the most respectful way, I would say the hardest artist to work with would have to be a teeter-totter between...
I bet managing artists are more like herding cats. Like, very hard. Oh, don't go over there. Don't do that. Wait, hold on.
Well, I like your little analogy there. It's more so along the lines of, you know, cats, they want attention when they want attention, and they don't when they don't. But with artists,
on
they
their terms.
always, yes, they
Yeah,
always
it
want
turns
that
on their
attention and to
terms.
make sure that they're getting it in these certain manners.
All eyes on me.
Or all eyes.
Off of
Can't
it.
see me. You know?
Did you just John Cena me?
Yeah, bro.
You just John. Okay. Chansey, one of the things that I wanted to ask too is I know that your background is super interesting. Me and
Yeah,
Co.
I wanted to know a little bit more about the background. Like, I love all the stuff you're doing, but like, where did Chansey start? You said you didn't do PR before this.
No, I did not do PR before this. Where Chansey started is a whole different question than where Chance came from before ReScope. So
Where did you get
Said
started?
one day I was
Chansey?
born.
exactly.
Let's start from the top.
Let me walk you through the steps.
As I walked through the candy cane forest.
But either way, so before I came to ReScope, I had my own company in augmented reality. It was called Image8 Creations. And so we transferred that from a creative side to now a consulting side. Yeah, and for those of you who are not familiar with augmented reality, it is the ability to superimpose and or overlay people, places, things, objects, sound, and whatnot into your real-world environment, viewing through your mobile device.
Boom.
Speaking of
Well
AR,
said.
I with VR and AR, I'll have to say this little tidbit is I think AR is the future.
What's the difference between VR and AR?
Oh my god, great question.
It
Hey,
is a
I'm
great
just asking for the
question.
viewers.
Yeah,
I'm
of course
sure
you
some
are.
people are curious.
I'm actually
I
really
know.
glad that you asked that question because majority of people don't know.
Yeah.
And so the difference between AR and VR is simulation and AR is not. AR is okay, so VR is simulation and immersion, and AR is bringing that simulation into your reality, basically. So it's having you viewing it through your real world environment, through either your cell phone, your tablet, and or whatever device that you're using that can actually lay that there.
So
Or-
it's like essentially like having having glasses that has digital stuff into it that
Yes.
you're seeing real world, and it's just adding digital stuff versus having full screen in front of you where you can't see anything.
Where you're like
you're immersed.
You're
in
immersed
screen.
into a completely different environment. So that's why I think it's the future. So picture this with me. So with AR, obviously, there's companies that are working on like the glasses, like Google Glasses or Google Lens, right?
Yeah. Apple just came out.
Apple's-
Actually, Apple's VR though.
But
Yes, they are.
it's a lot of AR integration too, which I think will be good. And then also, I think where technology is going is what if they could do AR with contacts? You know, where your contact.
How would you have battery to it?
That's the thing. Like, if that's where it's gonna go, dude.
Solar.
Mark my words.
Solar.
Solar bat. No, whatever it is. But imagine walking down the street with your glasses on, right? Just regular prescription glasses, and all of a sudden on your glasses, the store has something that pops out and says 50% off sale today. Or something will pop up and it'll be like walk or, emergency broadcast or weather alert. So your screen moves from your phone basically to your glasses. Mm-hmm.
That'd be sick. Or like if you could have like, it would be really cool if like you could do like a Facebook, not even a Facebook, maybe like a tweet, and it would just like pop up above you so people can know what your latest like status is.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sick.
And then, and like the VR stuff, the VR, the virtual is all virtual reality. So it will put you somewhere wherever you want to be in the world, right? It could be in a play box. It could be
Like those
anywhere.
like
I've showed you VR before.
Yeah. No, and it's like the glasses that just came out with Apple.
Yep.
Those are straight VR, right?
See, I thought it
because you can't see through it.
Too.
It's like just screens.
It's just screens.
It's between AR and VR, and so what that is, it's called mixed reality. So it's XR, and so it can take a little bit of both worlds. So it can immerse you into a whole different environment, or it could show you your environment with the overlay of those objects.
Yeah. Because actually, right, it has cameras. One of the cool things I saw with these is like the front has a screen, and so it will project your eyes through there. So like you can have like a conversation with somebody, and like it's seeing you through camera, and they're seeing you through camera, but they can see the actual eyes like as you're blinking.
That'd be really weird. Honestly, I don't think I would like that.
It's like $3,500. I would definitely want to try them. I'm not gonna buy it, but
we digress. But yeah, so that's AR VR. But okay, so you owned your own company doing that for AR. What'd you do before that?
I worked in construction before that.
What? Damn, what?
Like roofing? Like what the hell? You're a redhead. What are you doing?
I was a foreman painter.
Oh,
wow.
I can see that. I can see you painting.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when you say construction, I always go straight to concrete. Like,
I go straight to like roofing and framing. Like
those are the ones majority of people go to. They always forget about really what makes the difference at the end of it.
Well, it makes the difference.
Final touches is the paint.
Final touches, exactly.
I mean, so it is kind of hard to paint if you don't have a wall to start.
Yep.
I did construction for a second.
Me too.
And then I was like, no, there's no fucking way.
What did you do? I don't even know you did construction.
Yeah, dude, out of high school. I did for like a month, and then I was like, deuces.
What was it?
I was like a little bitch boy. That's what I did. Everything.
But for what? Oh,
like houses. Like I'd go and I would, yeah, dude, it just sucked. I'd move everything. I'd move like plywood to tacking up stuff to moving everything that they needed. Like it was horrible. To concrete stuff.
Dude, I did footings and walls for like 3 or 4 months. It was like right in between, like right after I got done doing summer cells. And I just was trying to find some way, and they were paying like $35 an hour. And at that time, I was like, so much money.
You were like, dude.
Yes. And then I go to my first day,
and you're like,
and I'm like, this is the hardest job I've ever done in my life. And I feel like a rat in a freaking hole. Like, I can't communicate with anybody that I'm with. Like, the whole experience was so crazy. Like, and so, like, I just remember getting so hot, and like, I would go and lay underneath the trucks to like cool off. Dude, it was just like such a different life. Like, construction's like hard.
How long did you work in construction?
I did that for 3 months.
Oh my gosh, 3 months. I worked in construction for 2 years.
Damn. Well, you're painting. It's way different than being.
Oh my gosh, no, you are.
No, going out and lifting
so much
forms.
more that goes in.
I know, but it's not like as laborious.
Yeah, we're not over here like.
I'm out here at 4 in the morning.
What's your point? I got up at like 3:30.
Okay,
just
but we're
to
in the middle of a hole,
sites.
like busting these forms off.
Okay,
and,
were
like,
you
setting forms up.
residential?
Yeah, houses.
I was commercial and industrial, so don't
so you only had to go to one job site for like 3 months?
Hell no.
We were hopping to 4 houses a day.
Are you okay? Maybe that might be a little bit different.
It was gruesome.
That would suck.
Guys, I lasted a month. I was like redhead in the middle of summer, and I was like, this isn't gonna work at all. And left that job. My parents was pissed too because my stepdad at the time, he'd bought me like all the tools and tool belt for it and shit.
This is gonna be your career, son.
Yeah, he's like, here you go. And then a month later, I was like, yeah, I'm never going back. I'm never going back into construction. Hats off to all the blue collar workers out there, dude. That shit's hard.
It is hard.
There's so much money in trade jobs though, like plumbing and HVAC and
I feel like it's like another boom in that almost, because like I feel like we went through this whole digital boom, and now it's going back to like
trades.
It's like, who's going to build the houses if everybody just works online?
Dude, like so many people hate college right now because it's so expensive to do and you don't have a guaranteed job. But like these people that are going into trade schools getting paid bank with no student debt.
Oh, yeah.
It's a necessity. Trades will always be around regardless. I mean, digital media, like the digital age, it can go up and it can go down. But trades, that is always going to be something that's a part of our society, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Welding. I wish I would have. I did welding in high school. It was like my favorite class ever.
Welding.
It was sick.
Welding would be a sick job to do.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite like YouTubers started off as welders, like Colin Furs.
Oh my gosh, I just watched his stuff the other day. I got caught up.
You got caught up?
Yeah, you guys should watch Colin. Like
Colin's awesome.
I almost think we should link him, but he's so sick. He's like this. Explain who he is.
You explain. I want to see your perspective.
All right, I'll try to explain it really good. So I believe he is a teacher, like an engineer teacher, right? He was a high school teacher at first. But he was in science and engineering.
I have no idea now.
So one day he was born, right? Just kidding. He was like a science teacher, but he started making YouTube videos of all these crazy inventions. And it's like Inspector Gadget stuff, like the coolest inventions ever. Like like shoes that would like
Hoverboards.
magnetically hook to walls,
Okay.
or like a guitar that's a flamethrower.
Rocket powered engines.
Oh, an
on
alarm
go-karts.
clock bed that will literally launch you out of bed at the alarm time. So you're
Okay,
like
I saw
out.
something along that line.
Yes. And so what really put him up though, I mean those was what really started his whole YouTube career. But the coolest thing he's been doing is this project of like an underground bunker, like an underground whole bunker system.
I like that.
He started with like a regular bunker in his backyard, and then he started tunneling to
Underneath his house.
like under the garage, now to
So
under
he
the
has secret
house.
tunnels.
He literally has the sickest secret tunnel system in his whole like.
So
in his
is
house.
this for a specific reason? Is he like getting ready for the apocalypse?
I think it's
or,
mostly
like,
for
a
views.
I think it's
takeover?
mostly for views.
Oh, pff.
But I mean,
Hey, but that's cool.
be
I
ready.
watch it.
Cool.
I'm like,
You're doing it
I-
for views.
yes, I can't. He went like rogue, not rogue, but he just like went off the map for like 2 months. And do you remember when we saw that come across the notifications that he came out with a new video? Stopped everything.
dude, in our old
It's
office,
a premiere.
In our old office, we would put him on all the time, and other YouTubers like
We had
Brody,
like 3. I still watch Brody
Sam,
on the
Sam
day.
the cooking
Sam
guy,
the cooking guy.
YBS.
Yep.
Brody,
Those were like the
Brody
3.
Moss, and Colin Furze.
Same with that Alpha Land dude. We watched a lot of him.
Oh, I love Christian Guzman too. As an entrepreneur and like workout guy, I love him.
Yes.
But anyways, in our old office, we'd put that shit on all the time. But once again,
Kinda
we're
like
getting
how
off
we-
the rails here.
we watch movies. We would watch YouTube back in the day.
Yeah,
Oh, very nice.
YouTube's where it's at. Sorry, we're getting off the rails again. But yeah, painting sucks. Construction sucks. It all sucks. That's why we'll move from it. But hats off to the hard work.
How'd you get into AR? Like, what
My
was your
mom.
intro?
I got
Your
into
mom?
AR with my mom, yeah.
Sick.
So I was introduced to AR at the age of 16 through a concert ticket. Yeah, she brought it home one day and was like, here, scan this with your phone, whatever, download this app, because that's when they only had it over app-based and not web-based. And so at that moment, I was like, wow, I can see so many avenues where this can go into and play a huge role.
Mm-hmm.
That
What concert was it?
It was a Taylor Swift ticket.
Really?
Yeah.
T Swift would be doing that.
T-Swizzle?
What year was this? How old? How you said 16?
Yeah, 16.
So what year was this?
You're going to make me
Like
do
2016?
math, Makoa.
I'm just trying to think. I feel like AR has been kind of new. Like the first time I went to Coachella in 2019, and they had like every stage had a little AR thing.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've seen AR on a big scale of like everybody in the whole festival had. Like there was like all the artist characters were like sitting up on top of the stage. Like they would interact with like what was going on stage, floating things. It was wild.
that's cool.
It was actually really cool.
AR is not new. It's been around for a really long time. Actually, one of the first forms of AR was in like fighter jets and planes along that line, where they would put the information that they needed to see for their paneling up on the screen for them.
Oh my god! Actually, I mean, I'm sure that was in fighter jets, but I remember my mom had this car, and it was like that was one of the cool features of it. It was like BMW, and they would like put the speed.
Yeah.
Somehow it was like on the like, what do you call that thing? Windshield. It was like just like it was that window you look through is in the
Yeah.
front. It was
What's
just
that?
like projected right there.
I'm not quite sure of what the word is right now, but we'll get there eventually.
But yeah, AR is cool. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of getting to the point where it's like becoming more and more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of it being like going downtown and like you could be able to see specific things. Like when you brought up the whole sale thing, I think that's cool for businesses to even be able to offer.
Well, for the marketing standpoint.
But you would have to have everybody on one system. Like everybody would have to be using the same like, or can you use like your regular camera to do that now?
Yeah, nobody would have to be on the same system. So it can go through any mobile device. It really just depends on what the store is using, their platform.
Gotcha.
And so if you have a whole bunch of stores down like the same line, they have to have some way where they could interact with the store itself to actually see what's going on if they're not wearing those glasses. That would be more so with the glasses, it would be geotagging. So when they walked into a specific area around the store and they have those glasses, it will just pop up the AR experience. But if you're viewing through your mobile device, you would have to go up to the store window and you could scan we like to call them AR codes, but they're best known as QR codes. For quick response, we call them AR codes because it's an augmented reality experience and it doesn't lead you to a static page. It leads you to
It
an
opens up a code.
experience. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
so-
that's exactly what you had at the
at our
grand
grand
opening.
opening by like our
Oh
anniversary thing.
yeah,
Yes,
it was just a code.
Yeah,
All you do is
just a
scan
code.
that. Boom.
Yeah, but I think where the technology is going is like think about with like Apple and AirTags and stuff like that. If you walk into a perimeter or like a barrier with those, it would be awesome to be able to.
So boom, you get presented something.
You get stuff, or NFC tags and stuff. NFC tags, you have to be like super close to them, and you have to like, you know, it's like the tap cards and stuff. But the technology's out there where I think that's where we're headed, that where we're not going to have to scan things. I just think I see that's where everything's going.
It is there.
So.
And it's there in different states. Utah is actually not adopting it as much as the surrounding states are, like Boise, Idaho. They have it.
Boise, Idaho?
Michigan, yeah.
I wasn't expecting Boise.
Yeah.
They're going to be like California.
Yep.
Yeah, me
So
too.
there
Or
have
Denver.
been a lot of surrounding states that have adopted this into a lot of their marketing strategies. So a lot of agencies are picking it up, sports, everything along that line. So it is in retail. It's in car dealerships, so automotive, music, and things along that line. So
Nice.
it's Utah that's really needing to catch up to it.
Is there a reason why Utah hasn't? Do you know? We just don't like cool things?
I would say that regardless of all of the research and development that's been done over the past few years, because it's ever changing, it's always advancing because it's such a sophisticated technology. I think that it's more so along the line of they don't think that it's something that they can afford. And that's a huge misconception, is that augmented reality is just out of reach because of the price point, and that's not true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, to bring this full circle back to ReScope Enterprises and Records, is thank you for telling us about your past, by the way.
Yes, you're
I think
welcome.
that's important to a person's story. Anytime I present, I'm always telling my story. Koa knows this. But back to ReScope stuff, is what's the future of ReScope Records? Like, what's next? What's coming up with like ReScope Enterprises, ReScope, like it specifically for like what you do here?
Yeah, definitely. So what's next for ReScope Records is we've recently opened up our doors to other local artists. So primarily there are these record labels that have a closed door policy when it comes to their in-house studio. And we've opened ours up to local artists so that they can come in and they can actually see the different types of work that we have underneath our roof. And so
What type of work
yeah,
do we do?
thank you for asking, because I was getting there, Morgan.
I'm sorry, I was just I didn't want to skip over it. I'm just
No,
curious.
You're all good.
I don't even know. I know some of what we do.
Yeah. So in partnership and collaboration with ReScope Rentals, ReScope Records offers local artists a full creative house under one roof. And so what that means is not only can you come in here to record your music, but you can come in here and you can get some green screen footage done. So that can go between photography or videography. You can rent out the room itself, or you can rent out the very skillful personnel that we have here. And then we also have this podcast room. So it's more so you can touch base on all the areas to get your music the exposure that it deserves, that we know it deserves, and that we know you know it deserves under one roof, instead of having to go, oh, hey, I'm going to record here, and then I'm going to go and hit up this person, and I'm going to go get some pictures taken for the content that I want to push out. Oh, but then I want further exposure, so now I'm going to have to call all of these podcasts. No, we house that under one roof.
That's super cool, actually, if you think about it. Like, that's way cool. Thinking it's like the one-stop shop
Mm-hmm.
for everything you would need to make content.
I have a question for you. With the podcast room, is ReScope Records going to make a podcast?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually.
It's been in the talks.
Like,
And
you should have all the artists on here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that we should.
Record Talks. What would you call it?
I called it the Records Report.
Records Report.
Records report. That's good.
Yeah, but basically we'd announce certain things. We'd have segments that are fun, invite local artists in. But either way, it's still just in the talking phase, guys.
Leave a comment if Chansey should
If
start.
Chansey, and if she should be the person that, like, the host.
She should be the host.
She should be the
No.
host.
Well,
This is also
we'll
her
see.
very first podcast. And look
Where-
how good you're doing.
I know. You've done great. Where can people find more about records Enterprises, or where can these artists
Like
find
if I'm an artist and I'm trying to
studio time?
get involved, what
How
do
do-
I do? Where do I go?
Yeah, great question, and I really appreciate you guys asking that. So if you are an artist and you want to learn more about ReScope Records, you should definitely be liking and following our social media pages. So it's at ReScope Records on Facebook and Instagram, and then we do have our YouTube page where you're going to get a lot of the behind the scenes of what we're doing here on a day-to-day basis. And then another good one is always reach out to Green Eyes Loco, because he's more than just an artist here. He's an advocate for the other local artists and letting them know when we have that availability in our studio. So those are all of the areas that you can find us.
If someone wants to contact you or reach out to you, Chanse, where can they do that?
Yes, so you can reach out to me over the ReScope Records Facebook page, or I'm chance.ch on Instagram. Other than that, I will
My
not.
phone number
I
is.
was going to say, I'm not going to give out my phone
My
number. or
social
my personal
security
email.
is no, that's fine. I'm just saying if they want to get in touch with you about working with these or artists or studio time and stuff, they can reach out to you as well, right?
Yep, and the email specifically that would give you the best luck is info@rescoperecords.com.
Bada boom, bada bang, and we'll link all of that stuff below.
Yeah, we'll put that all in the details. You guys will see that.
Description.
Well, thank you for being our guest today, Chanse.
Yes, Chancey,
Really
you're the
appreciate
best.
you being here.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to another episode. Koa, as always, where can they find us?
You guys can find these podcasts on all the major streaming networks, including Apple Podcasts. Just kidding, Apple Music and Spotify.
We're going to get that right one day.
One day, 3 years into it, we
3
might
years
finally
in,
get it.
it's Apple.
Then you can also catch the videos on YouTube and check them out on our website.
Perfect, guys. Till next time.
Awesome.
Peace.
2, 1.
Wow, that was a great group clap right there.